was a good, you know what? He was a good basketball player, and he was practicing in his off time. He loved basketball. He actually went
Efron
back
or
in time.
Perry?
Zac Efron in 17 again. You're gonna make me throw this microphone.
These two brown guys love basketball. Brown guys love basketball. Who doesn't love basketball? So let's talk basketball. I said, let's talk basketball.
Hey everyone, my name's Justin,
I'm Sachin Sahil.
and welcome back to the Brown Guys Basketball Podcast. Coming to you live from my home. We don't have that.
It looks beautiful.
I don't mind it. It's get a nice Edmonton skyline.
Yeah, we might have to do these at night this time because it looks gorgeous.
I don't mind it. It's
Yeah.
nighttime look. Yeah, and I got my handy dandy LeBron with me. He's here
Oh,
to
God.
support me. And
And I got my handy dandy. This is the only actually MJ memorabilia that I have. Shout out to Shaky, who randomly gave this to me at a convention. Great human, great person. Thank you so much. I love it. My new Christmas
that's
sweater.
so cool. I wish people would hand me things at conventions.
I meet some lovely people, man.
Yeah, you got it good. You got it good. So now that you've told us how great your life is, let's talk about something that's making you a little bit sad here, which is the grin on my face because I have been taking it from you for the last 4 weeks. Let's talk about those so good Golden State Warriors. Sachin, take the floor.
Well, they're playing. You know what the problem is they're not playing bad. And I say this, I watch their games all the time. It's not like they're playing this atrocious brand of basketball and they're losing. They're losing games for a bunch of specific reasons, I think. This is just my view on it. When you watch Golden State, everybody's talking about their offense. It's their defense because their offense is based on their defense and how they stop and then they run. They stop and they run. If they can't stop a team, they're stuck in the half court. And we know a stagnant Golden State offense doesn't really work the way that it should. And I said last year, I said Gary Payton II, losing him is the biggest blow in the offseason than anybody else. And nobody was thinking that because they're like, oh, they can replace Gary Payton II. You can't replace a Gary Payton II. You can't replace a Caruso. You can't replace these guys that come off the bench and play D and that have supreme energy like that. You can't in the NBA. And watching them right now, the reason why Warriors fans aren't stressing yet is because every year this team has to redo itself and refine itself. So they're not really stressing yet. I know I'm not fully. And Steph is playing so good that I think they're going to come out of it. They just have to find rotations. But man, it's hard to watch.
I'll be honest with you. They have the assets. Now, I'm not saying they're at that point yet, but they are interesting because it's very rare a championship level team has also young player assets to try and make a not big move, but kind of adjust on the fly. It's very rare that you see that. So I'm not certain that this is the team we're going to see at the end of the season. There's a lot of different opportunities, especially once you get down to the we're trying to lose phase of the season, which this year might happen sooner. Although the teams that we thought were trying to lose have not been losing games. So
Utah Jazz.
There we go. Here we go. Yeah. No, you're right.
I'm not saying that for me.
No.
I didn't think the Jazz were going to be good. I thought Colin Sexton would be better.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't think the Utah Jazz would have Lauri Markkanen be the next Dirk. You know,
a little sidebar. How do you think the Jazz fans feel about it? Because do you think in the summer they came to terms with like, okay, we're going after Victor Wembanyama, and now they're winning games. But like, if you're a Jazz fan, are you like, well, like stop because this isn't sustainable, or do you think like, hey man, let's just go? It's a weird one.
It's a very weird one, but I don't think you ever, when you see a team rise above like this, rise above expectation to the point where the whole league is talking about you, to the Utah Jazz, you are happy and you go to games and you're just like, what? What reaction is such a positive reaction always. And even though you want Victor Wembanyama, you want him very badly, you then start thinking there's a probable percentage we weren't going to get him because it's not built as much like that anymore. Where you're the last 100%. Team and you're guaranteed. So they're like, okay, if there was only like a 14% chance or whatever, I don't know what the percentage is that we're going to get him, but we're actually a good team. And we've seen all these guys crush it. And we have new players to actually love that play for Utah because they were told they were going to suck.
Yeah.
I'm going to the Jazz games just amped.
It is fun. It is fun as a fan base to like expect nothing and then get this nice surprise. And every night you could have someone be your leading scorer like that. It does unify a team. And that part is 100%. Fun. But back to the task at hand, and you distract me with the Utah talk, is I'm just going to ask this and you tell me your honest opinion. Is Clay washed?
No.
The version of Clay that we're seeing Are we ever going to see the Clay that we've seen in the past, that lockdown D and just spot up shooter? I think the shooting is still there, but I'll let you tell me. What do you think?
Washed to me means done, right? Do I think we're going to get Klay Thompson 27 points in a quarter for like doing stuff like that all season? Probably not. Do I think we can get defensive Klay back? For sure. I think that can come back when he's off his minutes restriction for a longer time, when he's finding his rhythm again. Again, because the team has recycled again, he has a lot more to do right now when everybody's trying to figure out their roles.
Yeah.
Last year, he could come in and kind of insert himself and still have these guys. Everybody was really defined, and it was about his job to find his place in there. Now, since everybody else is figuring it out, he's a part of that too. So everything has to be adjusted around what's happening and the new players and rotations. And that's going to take time, I think, this season, because they're young, and that always takes longer than when you have like vets. Gary Payton II was 29 or something. So these guys knew their roles and were okay to play it. I just think it'll take time. And I'm excited to actually watch it happen.
So we're not going to see at game 38 the Nets Warriors let's talk Kevin Durant trades, Kuminga, Wiseman, Moody, 4 first-round picks. We're not going to see that chatter. Do you think Golden State's going to turn it around by then?
I can't guarantee. They're a trade team. They can make trades for sure if they have a lot of young guys like that. You make a very good point in that they have a lot of young assets that other teams would want. Jordan Poole is even in there right now. If he's not playing Jordan Poole,
yeah,
the
only thing with Jordan Poole is I don't think they can trade him this year because of the extension. I think that's the one thing. Little sneak ahead. I messed around with the trade machine and learned quite a bit as to what can and can't be traded in this league. And so I think Poole is on that list of this season, meaning
mean, if he's not playing Jordan Poole and they're still playing bad, they're going to have to find somebody else to take what he was supposed to do this year.
Yeah. So the way for them to get KD, if anyone's interested, would be probably having to put the Draymond Green contract into that trade, which is
I like
so
how
funny.
it's KD immediately. Yeah. They're going back to get KD.
I'm just saying. It's just funny because like to get
I would
KD,
love that.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious
chaos
for me. It would chaos.
Yeah.
I just love NBA chaos.
Chaos in the NBA is the best part. That's the reason we watch the sport secondarily for the sport. It's
totally.
It's
like
the rest of it
for us.
It's 100%. Yeah. So I think Golden State, I'm on your side. I wouldn't be panicked, especially coming off a championship. You kind of you accept that there's going to be some, issues along the way, but it's Golden State. Like I can't see them being terrible. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't compute. I've seen them bad once when Steph was hurt and it was like the transition year, but this ain't that. You know what I mean? Like they got too much talent. Which is
if
so
Steph
weird.
was playing bad, I'd be much more worried, but he's playing MVP level. So they are all like, oh man, we got to rally around this guy because he's working his ass off for us. And that actually matters when your leader is working that hard to do that. Yeah. And you have the ability.
It is weird that they're losing while Steph's playing like this. That's it's the defense. Only part that makes sense.
It's defense because their offense will always kind of come because of the way they play. It's a brilliant offense, but that's why they're not going on their Golden State runs right now. Those runs where they go up by 20.
Oh, it's the most deflating thing. Most deflating thing is, as someone who watched LeBron for years against Golden State, the hardest thing was when they went on those because the teams go on like 11-0 runs. That happens, right? But the way Golden State does it is it's in like 45 seconds.
And you're done. And then you're done for the game.
You're cooked. Like you're actually just done. And it deflates you because
they're not doing that.
You go to the bathroom by mistake and come back and it's like, what the hell happened? Like
what?
The game's over.
Yeah. Steph has 16 threes. What's happening?
We lost the game. So,
but they're playing at the level of their competition every night because Golden State does every night. I've watched them. That's how they've done it for years. And then they'll do that. And then they'll do this. They will play at the level of your competition until they go on that huge run. And then they'll coast again up 20.
It always feels like it's like middle of the third quarter where it's a 4-point game. And then boom. They just take the game away from you and it's over.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
beautiful. But they haven't been doing that.
So Golden State, we think, is going to turn it around, but not every team in the league is turning it around. So what do we think was going on here with the Nets? Now they've won a couple games. Jacques Vaughn's looking good. Do you think that the Nets are going to hold on to this the way they're playing now throughout the rest of the season? Or do you think it's just a new coach boost?
I think they are. I believed in the Nets from the beginning. I think they're another team that had to figure it out too. They have a lot of weird players that they have to work around. Also, Seth Curry came back. Also, they have their young players that they started playing again. Claxton is playing really good. They have this guard off the bench. I forget his name. starts with a C as well, but he comes off the bench. He's scoring like 20 points. They're giving more people chances that are actually executing. And I think Brooklyn is going to find their place again early on in the season. Everybody wants to jump off the ship and be like, "Oh my God, everything's burning, it's done." But we have to wait. We have to wait until everything evens out.
I think the Nets ship is kind of labeled the Titanic at this point. Jumping off might be the right decision in year 3, or I mean year 4, I guess. But it's just every year there's something with this team, right? I mean, Royce O'Neal, who saw this coming? Royce O'Neal is going to be playing huge, meaningful minutes, like 35 minutes a game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Baffles the mind.
But like, hey, good for him. He's playing well. I'm not going to take anything away from him. But yeah, no, I think the Nets. I think the Nets are interesting. I think
they have a solid enough roster to be a decent team in this league. Like, I look at the roster. There are teams with worse rosters. It's just a lot of drama. And KD leading that team around them, if they play the right way and play defense more than anything, finally play some defense. That's what they're doing. We talked about this before.
They played good D.
But we talked about I believed that they're a good team. They just played no defense. And under Steve Nash, no disrespect, that's not his forte.
I just think the issue with the Nets is like KD has to be so good for them to be good. Whereas like I can see the Milwaukee Bucks not winning a championship without Giannis, but winning games without Giannis. And I just don't see the Nets winning games when KD doesn't like shine. No. And that's a lot to put on one guy who's gone through as many injuries as KD has, right? He's not in his prime anymore. That's the issue. That's the worry I have. The inevitable 8 to 10 games are coming up that KD's going to miss. And what are they going to look like then?
Yeah, that is a huge glaring stress over everybody because KD is that team.
Yeah,
it's not that nothing's happening without Kevin Durant, and how as far as he goes, they go. But 100%. if he's healthy and he's there, I think they're not bad.
No, bad is not the right. When I say Titanic, I mean more that it's going down. It's more about when you escape. Like, are you getting the boat or the door for yourself, or are you sitting on the edge waiting for
you're starting to hear the violins.
Yeah,
like
100%.
Slowly just playing. Yeah.
So the teams that are hearing the violins, their violins are playing them out to the music to French music of Victor Wembanyama. So we've been talking about him ever since we started the podcast, which feels like months ago, but it's only been a month. And I feel like we've been talking basketball forever, and I can't remember what's podcast and what isn't. But
I love it.
I came up with some pretty interesting Victor Wembanyama trade ideas. Now, what did this stem from? Well, Sachin and I have been talking about the Lakers and how bad they've been. And I mean, no one knows it better than me that this team is not turning it around anytime soon. They're built poorly. It is what it is. But they just happen to not have their first round pick. They may have their pick, but I think it's a swap this year. So Pelicans, who are a very good team, have the opportunity to swap with them, which is, I think it's worse than not having your pick. Like, having it in your hand and taken away from you seems so much worse than just not having it.
Can you imagine the Lakers get the number 1 pick and then they lose it? And Victor Wembanyama.
That's where this stems from. So if the Lakers have to give that pick to the Pelicans, we talked about this and we're kind of curious, what would the Pelicans want to draft Victor Wembanyama? Because hear me out here. You have Zion Williamson, Victor Wembanyama. You'd have Brandon Ingram. You'd have CJ McCollum. That's a lot of mixing of I need the ball, right? That's a lot of people who need the ball. So if you're the Pelicans and you're in that win now mode, what could you get for Victor Wembanyama? So instead of asking, I'm going to tell you some trade machine trades that the Pelicans could make if they ended up getting Victor Wembanyama.
That's why you're on the trade machine.
I love the trade machine. It's so much fun to play with. So you're going to tell me yes or no from which perspective that you would do this trade. And if it's a yes from one side, it might be a no from the other, but there might be one in here that I think you like. So let's go with the first one here. I'm just pulling it up. This is good. All right.
I love these games, Justin. These are really good games.
I love coming up with games, man. They're the most fun. So first trade that I came up with. So keep in mind, these trades all are happening after this season. So we're going to have results of the season before this trade happens. So that's where the first one stems. I've got Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey for Victor Wembanyama, CJ McCollum, Trey Murphy II, and 2 first-round picks.
I don't think that the Pelicans make that trade.
Really? Because then you
Yeah.
could put Zion at the 4, and he doesn't have to. Because the problem with Zion is he struggles mightily defending the 5. So if
Yeah,
you
but
had
this is a
Joel
very
with
new.
Zion and Ingram, and then Maxi,
Yeah, I think that's a beautifully directed trade. I think that's like a conversation where they'd be like, "Oh my God, but what if?" But in the new NBA, you're like a prototype center. Like, okay, so you're basically thinking about trading Embiid for Wembanyama.
well, I think you have to give up more. That's why I put Maxi in there. I don't think
Yeah,
Maxi's a throw
I
in.
I agree. Maxi is a fantastic player. Like,
Yeah.
nobody can. I actually think that Philly's going to go as far as Maxi takes them because I think Harden and Embiid will play, and however get well Maxi plays, Philly will go. Anyways,
Okay.
but yeah, Wembanyama's coming in and he's able to do all the things. He's not as big as Embiid for sure, but he looks like already. If you're thinking about a couple years down the line, he can do everything that Embiid can do already. And
So here's the counterpoint. This is why I came up with this trade. This is why this is the first one that came off my mind. Do you want to have two body types of Zion and Wembanyama on the same team? Because you're looking at double high risk for missing a lot of games. Whereas with Embiid, he's kind of matured. Now we've seen him able to stay healthy for a few seasons in a row. You kind of mitigate your risk while also keeping your ceiling very high with an Embiid coming in.
But you also got to think about, and this is not even basketball related, about publicity, right? If Embiid is great, Embiid is awesome, but you draft Wembanyama, this trade, whatever has to be for Wembanyama, just on a scale of everything, has to be worth Victor Wembanyama. I love how we know how to say people's names when they're this good.
Yeah.
I love how we can say Antetokounmpo and Wembanyama. And
you're right. I think the only reason I think this works in the Pelicans' favor is because they got to do that song and dance of the publicity 2 years ago with Zion. So they got to give their fans that. But imagine you're a Pelicans fan. If you're a Pelicans fan today, would you want the mystery box or Joel Embiid with Zion and Ingram and Maxi? Because to me, I think that's
you're not wrong. That's a very tough trade. You know what? Also, this is bias. I'm not an Embiid fan. I don't want him on my team.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then that's fair.
So if we're talking, there's a lot of things that are keeping me from doing this on top of Embiid in terms of like just the way I think he talks about his other players and all that stuff that happens at the end of the season. He always throws somebody under the but it's honestly that off the gate, very, very intriguing. That team, if you put Embiid and Maxi on that team like that, that's a good team.
I think the main reason I like it so much isn't so much the offense, it's the defense it's almost like the insulation of Embiid for Zion, right? You let Zion be Zion because he doesn't have to, on the defensive end, deal with the problems that he's dealing with now.
I can't guarantee an NBA team wouldn't make that trade because, like, you know what I mean? Because that's good.
That's what the trade machine's for, baby. All right, this one's tough. I'm not sure that this one's gonna fly, but I had a lot of fun coming up with it. So this one is Victor Wembanyama, CJ McCollum, Jonas Valanciunas, and Devontae Graham for Luka Doncic, Tim Hardaway Jr., and 2 first-round picks. So in this scenario, we're valuing Wembanyama and Luka kind of the same. I personally wouldn't do it from either side. I mean, not either side, from the Dallas side, because I think Luka's generational. But Dallas is in a weird spot. They can't seem to build a team around Luka like a contending team. And so I don't know. It's one that would you like want to restart, give yourself another 5 years with Wembanyama.
Now, do you think that's this is a conversation from another podcast. Do you think that's Dallas, or do you think that's the way Luka plays basketball?
No, I think it's Dallas. I don't love the players. Like I don't think they've given him a chance with players. Like
I think he's very good. I think he holds the ball too much. Again, that's my argument. For
the ball movement thing. That's a fair argument. But what I mean to say is like if you gave Luka a team that had another superstar and then he held the ball too much, then I could kind of get on board. I want to just give him a chance with that first. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But it's a weird one because
weird one. But just because these names, you hear Luka Doncic and this rookie, right?
Yeah,
it's like,
you kind of have to, right?
You have to, yeah.
Wembanyama, you can't do like a tier 2 guy because why would you even entertain the idea?
You wouldn't, because what the opportunity cost of losing out on somebody like that.
Yeah.
Who, my God, is just he's just a taller Kevin Durant, Ingram-ish kind of player that is just as good as them already, looks kind of like it.
And
So
not
it's tough.
lost, not lost on the floor against men. That I
And
think
confident. A big
yeah.
thing about it is very confident. Like a lot of these guys when they came in were kind of like, I hope I'm good at basketball. Victor Wembanyama is like, he's got the heart of a LaMelo Ball and the
Yeah.
ability of a Kevin Durant.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So this one, if it's me, I'm saying Dallas probably says no. I don't think you give up on a Luka, but I think it's a slam dunk yes if you're the Pelicans, because now you're rocking Luka with Zion and Ingram. I got to take a shot with that. I have to.
God, that would be tough. Maybe I'm rating Victor Wembanyama too high in my mind. I just think if I'm the Pelicans, it has to be stupid. Like I have to be honestly dumbfounded for me to it has to be dumb for me to say no to this. And I don't know yet if I'm like that's good trade. I don't feel dumb.
Okay, well then I'm going to give you the next one because this is a different type of trade. This is a asset rich trade. Okay. So what you're getting in this trade is you're giving up Victor Wembanyama, Jonas Valanciunas, Larry Nance Jr., and Dyson Daniels. And what you're getting is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Josh Giddey, 4 first-round picks, and 3 first-round swaps.
Okay, this is great. I don't care about picks when it comes to Victor Wembanyama because I have no pick. I'm hoping those picks that when you get picks, you're like, oh God, I hope this guy is good. You have the pick.
Yeah.
Right. So if I'm trading Victor Wembanyama, it had better be for right now, guys that make me feel stupid for saying no to this.
Let me tell you why the picks matter. I am 100% in agreement with you. Those are the picks that you can use to leverage for a trade for the next guy on your team. When you have those picks, so those picks are actually just a future asset for a trade to get that missing piece on your team. I don't think you draft those picks. I'm 100% with you.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is I don't think OKC has that guy, but you get the asset to go get that guy, the missing guy.
You're trading the picks and all this stuff, and picks to me, even if they come with even if they're trade assets, are for potential possibility. Yeah. You have the potential possibility staring in your eyes.
I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't do this trade, but the reason I came up with it, like if I was New Orleans, the reason I came up with it and I liked it is because I thought Shai was kind of like the perfect player for New Orleans. Mm-hmm. They don't really have a like elite ball handling guard on the team. And in this trade, you're not giving up a lot and you're getting in someone who is a great facilitator, really good shot selection, and someone who's going to be motivated to play on a winning team and has a lot of years left on his contract. So this was more about like, how do I get Shai to New Orleans? And you know what I mean? Like,
he's so good.
He's a perfect fit, right? They don't have a point guard and like not one like Shai. So this one, it was kind of a pipe dream one, but it's more, I think the fit for New Orleans is so good.
These are good, Jess. Those first two, I'm still having nightmares about.
I think the Embiid one's the best one, though. That one's
I agree. A center like Embiid is rare. A rarity.
And you're years into the process not working, right? So at some point, Philly fans are going to kind of like flip on that if they don't start winning, right? So here's the last one. This one I made just for you. This one is a doozy because we've talked about this player before, but what you'd be getting is Victor Wembanyama, Jonas Valanciunas, and Devontae Graham. In exchange, you'd be giving up Scotty Barnes, Fred VanVleet extended, Precious Achiuwa, and 3 first-round picks. He's silent. I did it. I did it.
I'm wrapping my head around these. Give me the Raptors players again.
Okay, so the Raptors players, just so I'm going to say it simply. Scotty Barnes, VanVleet, Precious Achiuwa, and 3 picks, first-round picks. That's what the Raptors are giving up. In return, you're getting Victor Wembanyama. You're getting the return of Jonas Valanciunas to Toronto and Devontae Graham. And keep in mind, people, the players that aren't Victor Wembanyama, like one of the trades had CJ McCollum, but for the most part, the trades are to make salaries work. It's really important in the NBA. You have to make salaries work. So those players, the fringe guys, could be swapped out based on who they have next year. But the base of the trade is essentially Barnes plus picks to get, and you have to give up Van Vliet.
But we also can't undervalue Jonas in this trade. Jonas is a very, very good center. Like we said, like I'm only doing this so I don't have to talk about anything else because this game hurts my brain. But Jonas is like a very good center, and if we're giving up Victor Wembanyama possibility and an amazing center for these guys that are really good, but guys that we already have filling those spots. And who's better at those spots? We have Ingram, we have Zion, we have McCollum, we have a lot of these guys filling those gaps already.
That is true.
We kind of need.
I think there is a way. So you could swap out Jonas for a couple other salaries. So let's just adjust it. Let's take Jonas out and put in a couple of mid-tier salaries, 5.8 to 6.5 million guys.
Yeah.
You do it that way. Essentially, you're looking at Van Vliet and Scotty Barnes for Wembanyama. I think if I'm the Raptors, I'd do it. I've seen the Raptors. We've talked about
the Raptors would
times.
Do it. The Raptors would do it. Yes.
And
if I'm the Raptors, I do it. I'm thinking from the Pelicans.
Yeah. If let's say they say I want 4 picks, 3 swaps. If I'm the Raptors, I'd probably still do it. You got to shoot your shot. You got to go for it.
No, I think they got to do it. For potential Victor Wembanyama. Again, we're talking about publicity too and all that stuff. 100%. We're talking about everything that Victor Wembanyama comes with, including the amazing ability that this guy obviously has, who has like furious star power, and you have him for years. Yeah, Raptors make that trade. I don't know if the Pelicans do.
Imagine what it would do for the Raptors Quebec fans.
Oh, he can speak French. Come on.
My goodness.
They would say oui.
I think it's kind of interesting from New Orleans' perspective, because what are the 2 players you're getting back fill the needs? Well, Fred VanVleet is an amazing point guard. He's good at distributing the ball, great shooter. And then what you're getting from Scotty Barnes is you're essentially saying, well, we get to play, if we play Zion at the 5, we get to play Ingram and Barnes is so unselfish that what you're doing is bringing in a star player that doesn't need the ball. Yeah. And all I'm thinking about from New Orleans' perspective is, if your goal is to win the championship, what are the players you're looking for? So I'm just trying to pick guys that fill holes instead of like repetitive guys.
Yeah, these are great choices, and I'm just jumping through hoops to try to say no, just because I would like. I think it would be so hard for Victor Wembanyama to. It would be hard to mentally trade him already. It would be so hard for me to, as a GM, to be like trading this guy. But then I would think about, for this trade, I'd be like, I think I can get more for him.
I think you're right. I honestly don't know what the value of something like this would. I don't think we've
But you've given me more, and I still have not been sure.
Yeah, I think out of all of them, I still think the Embiid one is the most interesting, because you'd be getting a top of his position player, like top 3 at his position player, and you would be filling a very important need on your team, which is essentially it's not so much you need a center, it's more that you're allowing Zion to play at his absolute peak. Yeah, which is, there's very few centers you can play that let you stretch the floor and play 5 out, and Embiid's that kind of guy. And I know you might not love him, but like on a team like New Orleans,
can't deny him. But I can't deny his greatness and the fact that he's one of the top centers in this league, and he plays a rare form of basketball that most centers don't or can't play.
Yeah.
I as much as I would dislike him on my team, I can't deny who Joel Embiid is.
I think that honestly, if I'm Philly in that whole exchange, if I'm New Orleans, you have to ask for Maxey. It's weird, but Maxey really puts a sticking point in it for me. Like, it makes it hard.
Me too. Maxey I don't think people understand who he is and who he's going to be in this league.
Yeah, he's good. And we both saw him cook the Raptors in that elimination game where he was just hitting from everywhere. And it's tough to find guys who have irrational confidence but deserve to have irrational confidence. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of guys out there who think they should be shooting 22 times a game and shouldn't be. Whereas like when Maxey shoots and I'm watching, I'm like, oh no, like I'm scared.
Bucket.
Like, even if it doesn't go in, it just feels like it's going to go in. I don't know.
And Embiid went out, and he got more touches, and he just skyrockets. I think he's the crux of that team right now. And they need to involve him in the offense as much as possible, because he's also their spark plug, and you need it.
No, I agree with you. I think as someone who is a huge Philly fan, like the Eagles, I understand the fan base better than most as to what they would want. And this would be the kind of thing, because Joel Embiid, they love Joel Embiid, but this would be the kind of thing that you could see them kind of like be able to flip a little bit and just
Yeah.
like, oh, we're getting like a generational talent, right?
Yeah.
But it's a weird one.
Wow.
You know what they say about
Good.
trades, right?
Yeah.
If both sides don't like it, it's probably a good trade,
Legitimately.
right?
We're like, I don't know.
I don't think I could do it. They don't think you could do it. So
Yeah.
I'll we'll let the viewers tell us what they think.
I'll get
But
messages for sure.
they're gonna be like, Scotty Barnes is better than Kevin Durant. What are you talking about? Okay, so with the Wembanyama stuff out of the way, now let's get to the real business of the podcast. We have another game that I came up with. This is all I do. I sit at home when I'm not working. I'm just like, how do I come up with more fun games for us to play? And we had a lot of fun with the draft. So I thought I'd come up with another draft for us. And this one's more inspired by two things. One, such in your field of work, and two, by your brother. If you want to lead us in as to what your brother Rishi sent us in the group chat.
Yeah. My brother sent us a clip years ago from Family Matters that shocked him because he was like, this changes who Steve Urkel was. Because one day they're obviously playing basketball in this episode and Steve wants to play so bad. I think he's the towel boy or something. And finally the coach, much to his chagrin, lets him come in and play. And Steve Urkel cooks everybody. He was doing the Michael Jordan through the legs on Larry Bird in the playoffs. He was going through people's legs. Steve Urkel was sensational in basketball. And this is not Stefan Arkell. This is not after he took the elixir to make him cool. This is plain old Steve Urkel. So that was a big moment in our lives.
So I thought, thank you, Rishi. Thanks for giving me the inspo. So I thought, in honor of that, me and Sachin could draft our starting lineup. Not so much positions because it's hard, but our starting lineup of fictional basketball players. Now, before we get going, Sachin knows I like to have the rules. There's always rules.
My friends hate your rules. I get them. My God, did I get? We'll talk about that on the next podcast.
This is just a simple one. I think you'll agree to this, which is no NBA players who play NBA players.
Great.
So, like, essentially, no Michael Jordan in Space Jam, no LeBron in Space Jam, or who I don't know who else is NBA players in movies, but essentially no NBA players who play NBA players. But if you're an NBA player in a movie as a role that isn't in the NBA, then you're fair game. And I saw a twinkle in your eye because I already know which way you're going to go with one of these. No picks.
Question. But we already we talked about Shaq and blue chips, and we thought maybe it wouldn't be as
you know what? No Shaq. Why don't we just start there? No Shaq. He just breaks the game. Like,
he breaks the game.
It's just unfair. So
yes, just to keep the game fun for the pod. But there is one. I mean, how are we starting this draft?
Do you remember who started last time?
I did. You
started. So okay, why don't we go with me this time, and then we'll go back and forth.
Oh, anyways.
Don't worry, Such. I'm going to give you a chance to draft your guy because I have an easy first overall pick. This is like, to me, she is the epitome of fictional basketball. Every boy's dream from the 90s, and that is Lola Bunny. She's so good.
She is very good. I actually can't deny that pick. I just love that was your first pick. I was expecting there were so many options that I was.
She's got hops, bro.
Oh, she's hops, and don't make her mad. Don't call her doll.
Don't call her doll.
I love that. She's like that Trae Young in New York. If you say "F you, Lola," she's gonna come in and destroy you.
Yeah, she put on a show in that, and what I found most interesting was no one knew who she was until that she showed up to basketball practice. So was she
waiting?
She lived in the Toon world, but no one had seen her before.
She was hooping by herself quietly, waiting for the day that she knew she could hoop, and then cooks Bugs one-on-one in front of everybody, in front of MJ.
Yeah. No, it was a tough look for Bugs. It was not ideal. So
she's got handles.
My first pick off the board. Go ahead.
Wow, Lola Bunny. And ladies and gentlemen, my first pick from Coney Island. Jesus. Shuttlesworth. Oh, the prettiest jump shot in the history. Jake Shuttlesworth's son coming out, raising his daughter by himself and being the #1 overall draft pick, still decides to go to big state because he wants to go to school and take care of his daughter and help his dad. Jesus, Shuttlesworth. Oof. Ray Allen.
Sorry, who was that? What was the...
I don't know if you've seen the movie He Got Game that I love so much. It's Ray
No,
Allen.
I heard you say Ray Allen, so I thought just an NBA player. It's weird. Yeah. Anyways, it's good.
But
I
he's
know he
not an
follows the
NBA.
rules. Follows the rules. No, that's the right pick. I'm not gonna lie. He's so good. He's so good.
Thank you for not taking it.
No, I couldn't. That would have a 30-minute debate as to why I got to pick first.
I would have left the track.
Okay, so with my second pick, this one it's tough because you can go between two guys. I'm sure if you guys have seen White Men Can't Jump, there's two obvious picks in that movie, but I'm gonna go with my boy Woody Harrelson here, Billy Hoyle. Now he's definitely not the best player out of anyone you could pick. But in terms of what he brings to the table and just being the underdog that can, I love everything about his game. Very unselfish. And I just like that the opponent looks at him and expects nothing and then just gets cooked.
I love it.
That's who
he
I
would come
want.
right off the bench and they would be like not guarding him and he would get 30. And
He's in my starting
he's like a
lineup.
Scotty Barnes.
Yeah, it's perfect. Exactly. I'll take Scotty Barnes too. Fictional Kevin Durant.
Okay, my second pick from one of my favorite movies of all time, ladies and gentlemen, Scott Howard, Michael J. Fox's version of Teen Wolf.
Oh, Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf, where he becomes the wolf and dominates. He shoots the under the granny shot free throws. He can do everything. He can dunk, throw it down, move. The hair is flowing in the wind as he runs down the court, and he's a beast. His eyes go red. He'll scare everybody on the team.
He's a beast. No, it's good. So I didn't know that he shoots underhand granny free throws.
He does everything. He actually
so he's a numbers guy. He goes by the percentages.
If you watch this movie, 100%. If you watch that movie, the basketball in that movie is ridiculous. They use the same 3 shots for
I've never seen it,
over again.
so I have to watch it now because that sounds.
Oh,
amazing.
we got to watch it. It's the best. Teen Wolf is such a good movie.
Teen Wolf. So you got Scott Howard is your second pick. All right.
Yeah.
Well, with my third pick, I'm actually getting more than just a basketball player in this pick. I'm getting a coach. I'm getting a general manager. I'm getting an owner. I'm getting a team announcer. I'm getting a hype man. And that all encompasses Jackie Moon from Semi-Pro.
Wow.
So I think that to me is what more could you ask for in a play? He does it all. And he is such a team guy. I mean, sure, it's in his financial benefit to be a team guy, but regardless, he fought a bear for the good of his team.
He's an icon.
He's an icon. I can't say anything more. Jackie Moon.
Fighting a bear, he's going to have to fight a wolf, so this is perfect.
he's totally prepared. He couldn't be more right.
Damn, you found my Achilles heel. It's Jackie Moon.
Jackie Moon. I don't think he won that fight, but at least he knows what he's doing in that battle. Knows, so
yeah.
All right, so who you got at 3?
My third pick, it's funny that you say you're getting more than a basketball player. My third pick, you're getting much more than a basketball player. You're also getting his ghost brother, Kenny Tyler from The Sixth Man. Being paired with Antoine Tyler. Every shot will go in, every basket, every pass that you make will get stolen. That is like I already have the best bench. There, it's a ghost.
We have animators fighting each other right now. Because I got Lola Bunny and you got that's a good pick. You definitely get both because he doesn't count as a 15-man roster player, so you're getting 2 for the price of 1.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
oh
that's a good
he'll
pick.
go in your huddle, he'll hear all your plays. It'll be great.
So in the sake of always picking this person in whatever draft we do to piss off your friends, I'm going to take Uncle Drew at number 4. Okay, hear me out. Kyrie over there. Kyrie, garbage, so annoying. Can't stand him. But Uncle Drew, I have watched the Uncle Drew Pepsi like long form ad with my friends probably 20 times. It is so much fun to watch him street ball and like cook these guys. Now, I don't know if they're in on it or not. I'm pretending like that they don't know for the sake of my happiness, but like he's so good as Uncle Drew. Why can't Kyrie just be likable? There's so many things to like. But
it's why people are so annoyed with him, because they actually would like to like him. Back in the day, like old Kyrie, but you just can't. He's off the deep end. He's done. I mean, Uncle Drew
he can ball.
Again, I can't. I get cooked by my friends for saying this again. Uncle Drew can ball.
He can, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Right. I'm also going to
Let's
cook
move
for
on.
not picking this guy first, but just so you know, guys, I know Justin wouldn't pick this guy, and I wanted to pick him for effect. Ladies and gentlemen, just pass it to Will,
Oh
the
my
Fresh
God.
Prince of Bel-Air, number 4. I wanted the people to wait just so they could be like, why aren't you picking Will Smith? But he's coming in doing oops, shooting half court shots, running into the stands, hugging cheerleaders. Ladies and gentlemen, Will Smith.
I'll tell you why I wouldn't pick him, because I actually don't know how good he is. Because in the show, he's playing against a bunch of prep school, high school kids who I don't know what their level of compete is. And he's just, I don't know. The only reference I have for him playing basketball is it gets him shipped off to Bel Air in the theme song. Like
Yes.
that's how rough he plays. Like I don't need someone taking 6 fouls right away.
That's how good he is. He comes in, he'll play against anybody. Even a guy have a gun, he's like, I gotta win. That's the type of determination that I want on my team.
I mean, they pull a gun and what does he do? Slap him in the face? Anyways.
But he still won the game.
Yeah. Okay.
Took that
My
hook
fifth,
shot.
Yeah, he did do a hook shot, right?
He did do a hook shot. Your dad would be proud.
Yeah, my dad would be proud. Anyways, my 5th pick, easiest choice I could have made. I left him all the way to 5 because I knew there'd be 0% chance you would even think of this player. And that is the one and only Troy Bolton from High School Musical. Now,
You love High School Musical.
Before you laugh,
High School Musical.
First of all, I do. But before you laugh, hear me out. This man led his team to state championship the same day that he had an audition for the lead in the musical. He had enough cardio, he had enough stamina to run from his basketball championship game to his audition, nail it, and then make it back for the second half. Like, this guy is a cardio machine. And then he's so good at basketball that he gets offered multiple full ride scholarships for basketball when his passion is theater. Imagine being so good at something and it's not even your number one passion in life. This guy, he's a blue chipper. This is a top 10 pick in the NBA waiting to happen, and people don't realize it because they're treating the content for what it is. But Troy Bolton, he's my point guard.
Justin, that was the best explanation I've ever heard for something so ridiculous that I'm not going to be mad at
you. Well thought out.
He's got great cardio. You're not wrong. Just for the cardio alone, that's a great choice.
If you watch that movie, there's a lot of running happening, and I'm just impressed.
But Zac Efron is so small. I mean, granted, these are all small ball lineups.
Yeah, where are we finding tall players if we eliminated the NBA? Like, could you imagine you pick Michael Jordan from Space Jam, I pick LeBron James. The other 4 players aren't touching the ball. There's nothing they can do to help. Like, it's just...
Tweety Bird.
Granny coming off the bench.
Granny hot. Tasmanian Devil was a hard not pick for me. I'm telling you right now. I want that kind of energy.
That's wild. I was telling my wife about this, and she picked Tasmanian Devil from the Looney Tunes, and I was like, he's gonna take 6 fouls before he's finished.
Does she like Russell Westbrook too?
No, she actually hates him.
Got it.
Only because we went to the Lakers game against Golden State, and Westbrook literally made no shots, and she's like, "What is happening right now?" Like, she thought that he was working for the other team. But
should have been coming off the bench.
Anyways, so I got Troy Bolton at 5, and that was an easy one.
Well, it's funny that you bring up Michael Jordan, because my 5th pick has all the powers of Michael Jordan in his shoes.
Oh, that's
ladies
cheating.
And gentlemen, we're playing basketball. We love that basketball. Calvin Cambridge. Ladies and gentlemen, little Bow Wow.
I'm actually so mad because that is definitely the right pick. He's so good in that movie.
Like Mike. He's just like Mike.
It feels like cheating because we said no NBA players.
But I don't even have to explain it really, because he's like Mike. I'm literally getting the movie version of Michael Jordan. And also, he's young. I have him for God knows how many years.
Well,
how old is he? 8?
I'm going to tell you right now, Sachin. I have the info on how to beat him. So I'm going to have my guys going for his shoes. No shoes, no Mike.
And you know what? You know who's going to defend him? My ghost.
Yeah, that's fair. I can't fight. What was up with the Halloween theme of your team? You got a ghost, you've got Teen Wolf, you have a guy named Jesus. I mean, that's not really Halloween, but
you know how much I love Halloween.
Yeah, you do love Halloween. So, okay, all right. We've each got our 5. Now, a couple things we can do here, which I think would be fun. I think we each get a 6-man off the bench, and I think we each get a coach. So, if you had to pick a coach for your team, who are you going with?
I mean, I don't think there's a choice. I think it has to be. What's your greatest fear, young man? Coach, I think it's got to be Coach Carter. I want Samuel Jackson.
I just watched that movie like 3 days ago. I'm telling you, these
What's your
inspirational
greatest
sports
fear?
movies, they never get old. It's always good.
You can watch them forever and ever, and they're always good.
It just
Oh my
reminded
God.
me of the
And
time
imagine-
you and I snuck in Subway sandwiches to go watch Gridiron Gang.
Subway sandwiches, candy, drinks, like the
We
amount
were
of
just
food-
leaking.
we legitimately. That girl at that Subway in the theater was like, "What's in your pouch pocket?" Nothing.
Nothing. Just go to this popcorn that we bought from here for
So
sure.
I had to wear those Echo pants with all the pockets in them just for all our candy. Man, that was a day.
Okay, so Coach
But
Carter's a good pick.
Coach Carter, because I mean, I've got now Jesus Shuttleworth knows how to play basketball, but I've got a Wolf, I've got Kenny Tyler, I've got Will Smith and Calvin Cambridge. He's got to know how to coach these people.
That's fair.
You know, he's got to bring this team together.
See. I'm actually going to go with a different kind of pick here. I don't know how many people have seen Space Jam 2. If you haven't, definitely check it out. But I'm going to go with the coach for the Toon Squad in Space Jam 2, which is the incomparable Daffy Duck. Now, he doesn't do a lot of coaching, but what he does do is let his star players play. He's like a Steve Nash at the peak of the Nets' powers. You know, he lets them cook. So I want someone who's not gonna make it about them. It's not about his ego. We already have Jackie Moon coaching on the floor. I don't need a coach on the bench just butting heads, you know? So
so he's like a coach on a LeBron team. It doesn't really matter.
Exactly. He did coach a LeBron team. I will agree to that.
So, he did. So that's perfect. That's why they got him. They knew he wouldn't do anything.
He knew he wouldn't get in the way, you know? Let them cook. So I'm gonna go with Daffy Duck as my
Oh my God, Daffy Duck. They're not gonna understand what he's saying.
No, he's not like Donald. He speaks pretty good English.
He's spitting all over the place. Yeah, he's all right.
Yeah,
Actually, that's true. He's not bad.
I'll be honest with you. If you're not spitting, you're not coaching. So
I don't know what Daffy told you that, and he is. I'm telling you, he just made that up for himself.
All right. So who you got coming off your bench? You got Scott. Teen Wolf just picked up his 6th foul, and you need to bring in someone. Who's coming off the bench first?
That's actually a perfect choice that you said Teen Wolf, because I don't need a man coming off the bench. I need the goodest boy in the history of basketball. Ladies and gentlemen, Air Bud is coming off my bench. How can you guard Air Bud? He's 4 legs of fury. He can cross over. He can get a bucket with his nose. You can't steal the ball from him. There's nothing you can do. Air Bud off the bench is like Russell Westbrook and John Wall coming off the bench. Ridiculous. Drive down the lane, move through everybody, take it, and do your thing, Air Bud.
I'll tell you what, Stephen A. Smith would love that pick because Air Bud, he's got that dog in him. And, you know, they love when they got that dog in them. So
very nice. Very nice.
So my 6th man coming off the bench is it's someone that a lot of people don't consider when you're thinking about fictional basketball players. But this is someone who's got handles like you've never seen. And I think that's the only basketball we actually see him do in the entire film is when he's handling it in the cafeteria. But he doesn't take crap from anyone. He scares the bully off with a basketball. And that is, of course, Mike O'Donnell from 17 again. We're going back to back. Zac Efron. Let's go.
Zac Efron picks. You have 2 Zac Efrons on your team.
I've got 2 Zac Efrons.
Justin. When I look at this roster, people are going to be like, "Oh, you put that guy twice." No, I didn't.
No, I did not. It is 2 very distinctly different. Now,
no, he played a lot of basketball in that game.
Yeah, he did.
It's just he left during the championship game to run after his girlfriend so he could tell her he loved her. And the coach was flabbergasted because he just left the ball dribbling there, but he was very good. I have
a question for you. Did he leave the game because his girlfriend was upset, or did he have an audition to get to? There's no way to know.
We'll never know.
we'll never know.
The only way you can tell the difference is if he leaves the game and he ends up turning into to Matthew Perry.
Oh yeah, that's the biggest L out of all of this is Zac Efron's worst nightmare is being 20 years older and he is Matthew Perry.
Becoming Matthew Perry.
Nothing against Matthew Perry. I love him, but like Zac Efron has a lot going right at that age that you don't really want to see that trade.
But he was a good, you know what? He was a good basketball player and he was practicing in his off time. He loved basketball. He actually went back in time.
Perry?
Zac Efron in 17 again. You're gonna make me throw this microphone.
Oh man,
he went back in time, and the first thing he did was try to find his girlfriend and go back to the basketball team.
He did. I'll be honest with
That's
you.
love of the
I'm
game.
super proud of myself for finding a way to put Zac Efron on my team twice.
That's a word for it.
It's very, very hard to do, and I did it. And
I can't believe you did it. I can't believe that it works that you did it. And I would honestly, I would like to see a picture of your entire team down on a roster just so I can go down and see two different versions of Zac Efron, followed by Daffy Duck.
at least I didn't go Zac Efron High School Musical 1, Zac Efron High School Musical 3. I could have gone a very different, like, just Corbin Blue. Just build a high school musical team.
Oh my God. I'm actually shocked that you didn't, and I'm so happy. But Jackie Moon is a great pick.
He's a sleeper pick, because he discovered something. Like,
he does everything.
He changed. Yeah. He's like Steph. He changed the game with the alley-oop. You know what I mean? So definitely. So guys, obviously we want you to rate our teams, but this one's a pretty easy win on my side. I'm looking at the teams here, and it's not even close.
I'm sorry, Justin. I don't know what you're looking at. I don't know what roster you're looking at, but both your Zac Efrons are getting cooked where they're not going to want to be 17 again.
Yeah, that's fair. The only one I'm upset about not getting in all of this was Calvin Cambridge. That is a movie I watched 100 times, and to miss out on him I'm just glad I have Zac Efrons. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, you do have, he did de-age, so you have a very young Zac Efron who has the wisdom of an older man. So that kind of helps. He like, what did I mess up as a kid? Now I have all this stuff playing 20 years later. Imagine I had me, like if I could go back and play 15-year-old Sachin playing basketball with what I know now, my God.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Against 15-year-olds? Come on.
I should have put Mike O'Donnell in the starting lineup, and I could have had him playing with Troy Bolton, teaching himself all the things that he's going to learn.
This podcast has made my head hurt on so many levels.
I'm going to call it there. I think this was a fantastic draft. I'm very happy with my squad. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thanks for
really good. Jess, you come up with the best games. These are actually awesome. I have a blast doing these. I'm super excited to come up with the next one. How many Zac Efrons can make the NBA at what age? Like, it's just going to be. If this becomes a Zac Efron podcast, if this is somehow how you made it, that I'm going to be talking about Zac Efron for weeks, I'm going to be really, really. I'm just trying to distract from how often I draft Kyrie. I found a new angle to go. Yes, I love where this is headed. Okay, guys. Anyways, this has been the Brown Guys Basketball Podcast. Thanks so much for listening. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, on iTunes. We're uploading every single episode to iTunes, and then YouTube. You can follow us on YouTube and share it with everyone. Please share it with everyone. We're having a lot of fun doing these. Boom. Play my theme song, Justin. These two brown guys love basketball. Brown guys love basketball. Who doesn't love basketball? So let's talk basketball. I said, let's talk basketball.